Every snap is an interview.
After the Snap.
What a snap.
Hey, keep your mouth shut, 50!
I lead by example.
With Blake and Reed Ferguson, discussing life in, out, and after football.
To be able to leave walking away with a degree and a championship, it couldn't be any better.
Yeah!
Well, you can take this boy out the real south on but you can't take the real south out of my voice. And now here we go again, twist a little bit deeper because I got thick skin.
Reed, I saw a tweet from you this past week that I wanted to ask you about. I wanted to get your take on record. I can't remember exactly what it said, but you were not exactly happy with Airbnb's pricing. You weren't happy with the overall experience of working with an Airbnb. I know you stayed in an Airbnb last night, maybe the last 2 nights, as you road tripped back to Buffalo. Give me your thoughts on Airbnb.
Yeah, so glad you brought it up. And for all those listening, welcome to the show. So I have been road tripping to and from Buffalo, wherever we have lived throughout, my career thus far. I love road trips. Huge fan. I love getting to take some new routes.
How far is a road trip from Houston to Buffalo?
It's about 24 hours driving time. We did it over 3 days, and we just landed earlier this afternoon. I love road trips. Brett came with me, a friend of the pod, very loyal listener. So shout out to Brett. He's great, but fantastic storyteller. He told a story, hilarious story, on the first day of the road trip, and it made the whole day just fly by. And it wasn't that long of a story, but it was like he told the story and it took a while, and then we were like, do something else. So we reference the story again and keep talking about it, and then do something else. Then we come back, reference something in the story, relate it to something, and we kind of do something else. It kind of made the whole first day fly by. So that was fantastic. He's a great road trip partner. Okay, so the whole Airbnb thing. So I have been so the first few years I traveled from Atlanta to Buffalo. I did hotels. I stayed at the same hotels.
Because you were by yourself.
I was by myself or with Buck. I brought Buck with me eventually after I got him. I would stay at the same hotels. I would take roughly the same route. It would be, twice a year. So last year, or maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I started, we got Luna. We have 2 dogs now. So it's just easier for me to handle giving them a space for themselves to run around, to move around while we're traveling. They're in the car all day. I'd hate to just coop them up in a hotel room, where, if I have to walk them, I have, that's like a 15 to 20 minute deal where you got to, it's like, that's like being super picky. But after driving 9 or 10 hours in a day,
the last thing you want to do
is take like 3 dog walks at 9, 10, and 11 p.m. Right. So like that's my thought process. Just, okay, let them out. Sure. You go out in the backyard, whatever, spend a little extra money for an Airbnb, roughly the same, spend a little extra money, or so I thought. So when I first started doing it, the pricing was relatively similar. It was not that much more expensive, sometimes not as expensive, sometimes less expensive than a hotel that I would have stayed at that was pet friendly. Obviously, you calculate in the pet fee, depending on where you're staying. It's, varies by hotel brand.
Which to me, in my opinion, the pet fee is absolute doo-doo because it doesn't, unless your dog makes a mess or leaves hair everywhere, what's the point of the dog fee?
It's
you're not
covering
damaging
them in
property.
case it's covering them in case of
Come back and
damage.
charge me after the fact if I damage something. Like you
I-
have my card on file.
Well,
Just
see, I'm
report it
about to
and-
get into that with the Airbnb deal. So I look, so I've stayed at Airbnbs before. We did Airbnb a couple times last year, looked at them this year. And so our first stop was from Houston. We made it all the way to Memphis. So the past couple of weeks, I've been researching Airbnb in Memphis, and I posted a tweet maybe, I don't even know, a week ago or something when I was looking. Are you pulling it up?
Yep, I have it right here.
Airbnb.
$134 for one night.
So that's so okay. So just first off,
That's
that's what you see.
Yep.
When
That's
you
what they
when I
that's what
search
they advertise,
Airbnb
Yep.
on the app, and I put my parameters, my filter, and I say I want from 110 to 180. You know, I don't really want to spend $200 a night. Whatever. That's, you know, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to stay at a bougie hotel. 134 a night.
Plus.
Okay, so I click on it and I go through, I swipe the pictures. I'm like, oh, it's fantastic.
This is beautiful.
It's big, it's a big place,
Yep.
had, you know, a ton of bedrooms.
Let's reserve
Which
it.
I was like, okay, $134 seems cheap. Let's just check. It had a huge yard, great, like a gated like driveway. I was like, this is fantastic. I want to stay in this place every single time. So I was like, okay, let me just click through and see, you know, the review. I looked at the reviews. Oh, it's a great spot, great walking trails, you know, kind of close to whatever. Go to the reserve button. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm staying here these dates. I'm checking out this date. I'm literally staying one night. And I go down and it spits out and I'm like, okay, there's going to be some kind of service fee. They're always, you know, Uber has a service fee. You know, the taking money out of the bank, there's a service fee, you know, whatever. So I go, you know, I'm like, it's going to be, you know, an extra $20, $30. I'm like, okay, that's fine. What? I don't have the tweet pulled up. You have the tweet pulled up.
Yeah,
What is the screenshot say?
It's got line by line, $134 times one night plus cleaning fee, $325. Dude, I don't know any cleaner in the history of cleaning homes that charges $325.
I don't know if the person that cleans the White House charges that much. $300?
It cost me
$325.
How big was this house? First of all, how many bedrooms? How many bedrooms? You didn't use it.
It was like, no.
Okay.
I didn't stay there. Are you kidding me?
So you stayed somewhere else.
I stayed somewhere else.
Okay. So on top of the cleaning fee, by the way, it costs $150 to clean my house. And that to me was like, that's a lot for like me and my dog living in a house. Anyway, service fee, $64.80.
Hi.
So is that
the service fee is half the nightly fee?
Service fee is probably Airbnb's cut of
I don't know
that piece of pie. And then occupancy taxes and fees, $102.09. That's $102 for occupancy taxes on $134 rate.
Okay, so you have it pulled up for a 100 advertised as $134 a night. What is the total for one night?
Total for one night is $625.89.
When I tell you that I almost, you know where the term flipped a lid comes from?
I don't.
Okay, you've been to my house
in
Houston. You've been to my house in Houston.
Yeah.
Big coffee table.
Yes.
It's heavy.
Yes.
I almost flipped it over. I was so mad.
So then a day ago, this is
so I booked a place in Memphis.
Yep.
We get there, walk in after a long day's drive. I am parched.
Beat.
I'm beat. I'm parched.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I just want to shower.
He just wants
get in bed.
some ice water. That's
just
all he wants.
Some ice water.
$160 a night for an Airbnb, and you can't even hook up the water for
There's
ice,
no ice
from the fridge.
No
Bruh.
ice and no fridge. No ice, no water in the fridge.
What was the cleaning fee on this place?
I couldn't even tell you.
You were scared to look.
No, I don't think it was that bad because it was like, it was probably like $80 or something.
Somebody
like
says
I was like,
$160 you got out unscathed, and you were like, that's just the rate. That's not the total.
I got gypped, bro.
Gypped.
And it said it was pet friendly. Like it said, the place I was staying was like pet friendly, fenced in backyard and everything. Mm-hmm. You go in the backyard and there's no lights. Oh, the dogs were peeing in pitch black. It was you're looking up a dark chimney. You couldn't see anything.
And when there's no lights on, you can't see Luna.
No.
You can barely see Buck if there's like some light from like
they
two
didn't
streets
know
over.
where each other were. They were looking for. I was shining my phone light on one, and they couldn't find each other. It was, man. I mean, and so last night we stayed at a Home 2 Suites, Old Faithful.
Come on,
that's where I love to stay. Fantastic. They had the big dog area. It was great. Poop bags, whatever. It was fantastic. They were the lady at the front desk gave Buck and Luna treats.
Man,
like it was
the
great.
most accommodating,
super
experience.
Accommodating. Free coffee,
man.
Free breakfast. Like it's fantastic. I mean, you're paying for it, but
when I was in Nashville last week, I stayed in an Airbnb and didn't have as treacherous of an experience. However, I originally booked it because I was planning on taking Jasper with me and didn't want to stay in a hotel I was there for 6 nights. I didn't want to stay there in a hotel with her from, so I booked an Airbnb. Well, when I decided not to take her, I had already reserved the Airbnb. And if you decide you don't want to stay in a particular Airbnb, they charge you half of the money for the 6th night. It would have cost me 3 nights just to cancel my reservation. So I don't exactly have the greatest of feelings towards Airbnb either. And
I mean, the place we stayed in Memphis was kind of a non-refundable.
Yeah,
it's worse than that. I mean, if you book for a week, you're stuck. So heaven forbid
So I ended up staying in an Airbnb by myself for 6 nights. Obviously ended up costing more than a hotel. Didn't take Jasper with me because I was going to be so busy that she would have been in her crate the whole time anyway. She would have hated it. Yeah. So not great.
Oh,
not
brother.
Great. Just get the Hilton reward points. Just do it.
I will say one highlight of my road trip was getting to snack on some once again nut butter crackers. Fantastic.
Hashtag ad. Hashtag once again nut butter.
Yes. Once again nutbutter.com. I have thoroughly enjoyed the snacks that they sent us. Obviously raved about them last week, but I have more here in Buffalo.
There we go.
So I'm looking forward to. I'll probably take some with me to camp and make some peanut butter and jellies.
Give them out to the team.
Yep.
So what the team thinks of the nut butter.
But so when we were staying in Memphis, or actually take that back, the night before we left was the home run derby.
Yes.
One of probably,
and we talked about this last week.
Yes.
The
top
best
3.
Well, it's the best
events.
It's the best of the skill challenges in all.
Oh yeah, 100%. Top 3 sporting event of the year for me. Super Bowl, home run derby, and then the final game of the World Series or something or the Champions League final or something like that. It's
top 10. I don't know that it's in the
sporting event. Like a one night deal, like appointment television. I'll go top 5.
See, I've got
Super Bowl,
Sunday
Champions
Masters.
League final. Okay, Sunday Masters.
Thinking Sunday Masters. I'm thinking.
Well, I'm
Definitely
talking
not NBA finals.
single day
March Madness
sporting events. Okay, there you go. March
Are we-
Madness final.
Are we talking? I don't
I'm
know.
talking single day sporting events.
Can I put opening Friday of March Madness? Where you
Opening
get-
Thursday, yeah.
or Thursday, where you
Yeah.
get like 32 games or whatever it is. Yeah, I think it's 16 games and then 16 more on that Friday.
Yeah,
That's got to be
that's
up there.
valid.
So
Okay, so it's top five.
I'm not discrediting the home run derby by any stretch. I love the home run derby. I just don't know that I'd put it in my top 3 of all appointment
five.
television sports.
Fair enough.
So,
But
that was Monday.
Yeah, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Julio Rodriguez stole the show. Rookie. Funny thing, obviously, I think it was made a pretty big deal when Judge did the home run derby. Was that he won it I guess he won. I think he won it maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I can't remember. Anyway, it's always fun when a rookie participates and you get to see how much they make.
Yeah.
And then if they win, they get the $1 million,
Which is wild. I saw that
crazy. So,
headline.
Yeah.
He this year salary, he's making 700K, which is pretty good as a rookie across all sports. I think rookie salaries for this year in the NFL is like maybe 650.
Yeah,
So,
something like that.
and then for coming in second in the home run derby, he made 750K. So
Yeah.
more than his salary for the entire year.
Yeah.
I don't know what the exact is on what Juan Soto made for winning it. I think it was upwards of $1 million, maybe 1.5. But certainly funny that he in one night made his entire salary and more.
Yeah.
Although it was in California, so
Fantastic. I don't think that matters.
Duty days doesn't matter.
I don't
All-Star
know.
game?
I don't know. I
The
think
home run
it's
derby?
that's a great question.
We need to get a tax expert.
If anybody is a tax expert listening to this episode,
Should call
please
Uncle
let us
Scott
know
right now.
I'm
gonna
please
call
let
Uncle
us know
Scott.
if you're. Yeah,
I'm gonna call him while we're recording this because he listens to the pod.
I hope he doesn't answer.
Here we go.
That would be funny. Ringing. That's a tough look.
Can't even get Uncle Scott to answer.
That's a tough look.
Well,
All right.
that's tough.
So I would
find
think
that
that
out.
it's probably see, I don't think
Why wouldn't it? It's just like an away game.
um
If you're a home player in the state of
don't-
California.
I'm not sure.
Anyway,
Good question. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. So that awesome story about Julio being a rookie. Soto, one of the best players in the league.
who he was in the finals
Who was in
against.
the final against.
Yep.
Soto won it. And
The kid's a stud.
crazy story.
Yeah. Made big
He
time
turned
headlines.
down a 15-year, $440 million contract.
Extension. Yeah.
Which or extension. I get which to any regular person, not 99.9% of the world's population would be like, yes, please.
Yeah.
I'll take.
Fully guaranteed.
Fully guaranteed.
Yep.
You're walking away with, I don't know, $270 million after taxes. I think I could find something to do with that. So he turned it down. And in response, the Nationals didn't fly him to the All-Star game. So he had to book his own flight and flew out there on his own dime.
I love that he flew commercial to.
I mean,
There's like a picture
Well,
of
see-
him on
see-
the airplane.
Oh, well, see, that was my question. I haven't seen anything like he's a well-known
Yeah.
baseball star. Like
Well-
in season, this is in season. You would think if he flew
Yeah.
commercial, there would be like more people would
Yeah.
recognize him. I feel like I didn't see like anybody.
There was
be
an
like,
article.
Oh my gosh, Juan Soto's on my flight.
There was an
Like
article that said that he was flying, that they didn't fly him private.
Yeah,
And there was a picture of of a commercial like flight. I'm assuming it was of him on the airplane. I didn't click on it. I just kept scrolling. But I also saw where the Oakland A's didn't fly
Pete Blackburn,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out to
which I didn't realize he even
Paul-
made the
Paul
All-Star game.
Black-
Paul
Paul
Blackburn. I didn't realize
Um,
he even made the All-Star game because if you look at his numbers, they're not good. But I think he might be like their best player, like one of their best players. And I think every team had to have somebody there.
He
So, I don't
was
know.
invited by the Houston Astros
Yes.
to join them on their
On their
private jet.
Private jet. How cool.
That is class.
What a
by the
PR move,
Houston
though, for
Astros,
Houston.
and it just makes the Oakland A's look even worse.
Terrible.
Than they already.
Terrible.
Their reputation across the league is just already bad for being cheap. Their stadium stinks.
Pitiful.
You and I have never been there, but just from horror stories from the Oakland Stadium, just not good. You can't win baseball.
There's
games.
I
have the
don't
worst-
remember who I was talking to.
Do they have the worst record in the league? 32.
One of, I think
32
Kansas
and
City's down there.
61.
They're I have
only
seen,
one worse is currently the Washington Nationals.
Hmm.
By one game.
one game.
By one
I
game.
have seen there's been some billionaire, like, I don't know, venture capital people that have like bought land in Vegas. And people are speculating that that might be
Yeah.
where the team
I've
is
seen
moving.
some rumors about that. I think it would be great. I think Vegas is, I mean, they've been wildly successful with the Raiders,
Yeah.
wildly successful with the Knights hockey team.
Yep.
I don't know why
Um,
it wouldn't work. I mean,
Yeah. So
Oakland-
I have two more funny, interesting. They're funny to me, but interesting topics. One about the home run derby. Second about the All-Star game itself. First, the first round matchup between Albert Pujols and Kyle Schwarber. Hilarious for two reasons. Albert Pujols is old. And he was like
42?
a gimme invite to the All-Star, like to the home run derby and the All-Star game, obviously, because he's a legend. He got like a
42
hey,
years old.
42 years old. Like, hey, just come.
It was him and Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah,
They were
like you guys,
what was it, the
like,
Legends?
Yeah.
Pick
It's like
by
a
the
lifetime
commissioner.
achievement award.
Yeah. It wasn't.
So they
it
get
was definitely
invited,
not
and
due to their success.
No,
this
he had 6
season.
homers this year. Like that's not,
It was
we're not
like-
doing this.
It was
We're
like,
not doing
we
this.
kind of feel bad for you
Yeah.
because you've made All-Star like
Exactly.
every year in
Exactly.
your career up to this
Like a
point.
17-time All-Star. So they're like, here, come take, join the team as legends,
Yeah.
one per team, whatever. And so Albert Pujols gets invited to the All-Star, the home run, to play in the home run derby, to compete in the home run derby. He gets matched up with Kyle Schwarber, who is one of the best power hitters in the National League this year. I think he's got the most in the National League, like 20, 25 or 26 maybe in the National League. Known for last year, obviously playing for your Red Sox and getting super hot and helping lead them to the playoffs. But
Aaron Judge
All they
33, Kyle Schwarber 29.
there you go.
Leads
So
the NL
all-
by 2.
All
to
they could
Austin
think
Riley.
about, all the announcers could talk about when Schwarber was like getting ready to go was how, because he went after Pujols, was all they could talk about was, oh, his swing is perfect for the home run derby. His swing is so perfect for this stadium. Oh, blah, 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 blah.
loses in the
like
first
he
round.
went to a swing off. He had to fight to get to a swing off,
With
first of all, with Albert Pujols.
42-year-old Albert
13
Pujols.
home runs.
Yes.
He had to fight to get to a swing off and still lost. He's 42. He's 42
And has 6 home runs to date this season. Now, granted, he's not an everyday starter, but
just hilarious.
has 6 home runs on the season.
On the All-Star game, just hilarious to me. Such a big deal. Everybody's making a big deal. Tony Gonsolin. He's doing so well for the Dodgers.
Yeah, just
so good.
Drooling.
Never gets up any runs.
Drooling.
He's got 10 or 11 wins. He's going to start the All-Star game. Doesn't start the All-Star game. Comes in the 3rd inning or 4th inning to pitch. And Giancarlo Stanton mashes the second hardest. I'm sorry. I think it was the hardest hit home run ever recorded in an All-Star game.
You're just
the
like
second furthest home run hit in an All-Star game.
You couldn't have been happier.
Oh my gosh. I had the biggest smile on my face.
Just cheesing.
The biggest smile. And I was just like, you know what? Dodgers.
Only thing better for you and
that was
Gary,
just
Gary Sheffield Jr.
Oh yeah.
Would have been
if
it
prime.
Had been hit in Yankee Stadium to the short porch because you would have just lost your minds on Twitter tagging me. You would have just shut down the internet.
It's so enjoyable when I tag you in short porch tweets and
I hope you enjoy it.
You don't respond.
I hope you enjoy it.
I know you see it, but you don't like it or you don't respond. And I just like chef's kiss. So good.
It's tough. It really is tough being a Red Sox fan this year, specifically one that gets mad.
I mean,
about
I would
the
be
short
mad
porch.
too if my previously all-world pitcher came back, Chris Sale, expected to be the savior of the season, and 20 pitches in, he gets drilled in the pinky and breaks his pinky. Like what? On what earth does that happen? He spent months coming back from an injury, rehab starts, left and right.
Can't make it up.
Double A, triple A.
Can't make it up.
You can't make it up. You can't make it up.
This has been a process since they won the World Series in 2018. Anyway.
Crazy. So we report Saturday.
We report Tuesday.
Yeah, very excited. You
Tell
guys,
people why you report so much earlier than everybody else.
Yep. So I'm not sure we covered this on the pod last week. I know we covered training camp a little bit, but so we report Saturday. I think a couple of teams reported maybe yesterday or today. The 2 teams playing in the Hall of Fame game. I want to say it's the Jaguars and somebody else. I think maybe I want to say it's the Cowboys, but I don't know.
Hall of Fame game?
Steelers, maybe.
I thought it was the Raiders.
Oh, Raiders, Jaguars. Anyway, we are reporting early,
Raiders,
3 days
Jaguars.
early, because we play in the Thursday night game opening the season. So
for week one,
not preseason,
which means that you have to report early.
Oh yeah, we just get an
after your
extra
preseason
we get
game.
an extra 3 days.
Well, you lose the 3 days after the preseason game, so you
Correct.
get the extra
so we get
3 days
early on the front end
before all the preseason games. Yes.
Yep. So that's why we are reporting early. I think I don't know when our first open practice is, maybe Sunday or Monday, but that'll be exciting to be back out and see all of the fans again. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we see a few Grills Mafia shirts out in the out in the stands. So if you wear a Grills Mafia shirt to training camp, please get my attention. I will definitely want to take a picture with you. So come find me, holler at me, get my attention. I will be on the lookout. So definitely excited for camp coming up. We'll be up there in Rochester for a few weeks, and you guys report Tuesday.
We report Tuesday, and we have our public training camp dates announced, which includes joint practices with the Philadelphia Eagles at home, confirmed. We were going to discuss last week, opted out of that. August 24th, August 25th, practices. Sick. Practices against the. All right. Alarm bells going off due to low blood sugar.
Okay.
Hence,
shout out Tandem.
Shout out Tandem. Shout out Minute Maid Lemonade for
Dexcom.
The
shout out Tandem.
Yes. Everybody's being shouted out in this very moment. August 24th, August 25th, joint practices, Philadelphia Eagles, time TBD. So, Dolphins fans, we would love to see y'all
in the afternoon?
When
practice? Is TBD?
Tom Segura. That he would be a legend to get on this podcast. Although,
yeah, I mean, one of my favorite things to do on a podcast would be, one of my favorite things to do. I lost my train of thought. One of my favorite things to do on a road trip is listen to his comedy specials. So we did listen, and fantastic.
Just so he's amazing and kind of raunchy, but I think he'd be a good pod. Couple things that I wanted to discuss as far as training camp goes, because I think training camp is this weird time for a month where you like get really close to your teammates because you're together like 10 hours a day, every day. And then all of a sudden you go from 90 players roughly on the team to 53, and the number gets cut in half. And it's like this really weird day because all of a sudden a lot of the guys that you got close to and you became friends with, you were in the locker next to them, they're not there. So that's kind of sad. But I will say one thing that I will be participating in now that I'm a third-year player, which when you get to the third year, I've kind of noticed third year is kind of when you get some cred. That's when you get vested if you make it to the third game of your third season. Third-year players and up are veterans in the league. And one thing that I noticed my first 2 years was that the veterans, the best vets in the locker room, are the ones that invest in the young guys, specifically during training camp. And for me, that was Ryan Fitzpatrick, journeyman quarterback, played, I don't know how many years, played for Buffalo, played for the Dolphins, obviously, widely respected across the league. Fitz magic, as they say. Just a good guy to have on the team. And he didn't have to invest time in getting to know a young long snapper, but he did. And I will forever respect him for that. So just thought I should throw that out there as we get into year 3 for me, year 7.
Be 7.
7th training camp for the kid.
Yep.
Get it hard. Are there any vets that you, when you were coming along, that like?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So the first two that come to mind are Eric Wood and Lorenzo Alexander. Two guys that you have met, two guys that that are well known in the Buffalo community. Zero surprise to anybody that those names probably came out of my mouth.
I don't think I've heard anybody ever say anything bad about Zoe.
Yeah.
Like, just you guys, you and
One of the greatest teammates I've ever had.
you and Lorenzo
Yeah,
would compete to be the first guy in the locker room
yeah,
on game day. And
yeah. We took the early bus.
yeah,
But one thing that I have, and I love that you said year 3 is kind of when you transform and you start kind of that's when you start to look down, not in a bad way. You start to look down and take guys under your wing, so to speak. You start giving a little bit of advice.
well, you start becoming more comfortable in who you are as a professional football player. The game
100%.
starts slowing down. You know the routine of things.
100%.
So yeah, but
continue. So the I noticed that once I got a couple years in, and I make that a big focal point for myself, because I know how lonely, maybe how scary it can be to go into your first training camp and you're like, I don't know, am I ever going to play football again?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, okay, I just played my last preseason game. Am I ever going to play football again? I don't know. Depending on regardless of what position you play.
Well,
so
so you went through the cut process though,
right?
And it was even more like
90 to 80 or to 90 to 75, and then 75 to 53.
Yeah. So you're seeing guys just, I mean, you're seeing 20 guys.
I was first cuts my first year. I was a part of that first batch that went down. But I make a very conscious effort to reach out, get to know, try to make myself as available as possible to the younger guys on the roster, because I know that I know how much I was looking for somebody, older than me that I could connect with, that I wanted to relate to, that I wanted to like follow their lead, maybe on the field, off the field, whatever it was. I'm trying to take things from different people when I'm a young player. And I still do, but on the flip side of things, I've got T-Bass in my room, who's a couple years in. I've got Matt Hawk, who's the same age as me, been the same as long as I have. And then Ariza, who we're kind of trying to bring along. He's trying to figure some stuff out. And he done a good job so far, but not even, it doesn't have to be in my room. It could be in any position room. I'm just trying to make myself available to guys, give advice when it's warranted, if they ask. And part of that comes with being a captain, for a few years now. But it's something small, but something big at the same time, that I know guys I appreciated when I was coming up my first couple years in the league. And I know guys appreciate me doing it now, so they can have somebody to reach out to if they need something. Mm-hmm. So I think that's great that you mentioned that.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of vets could be in the mindset of, I'm just worried about me. I'm worried about performing and keeping my job, feeding my family. But there are a lot of guys out there who, like you, have, really tried to invest and take time to make those guys comfortable, because at the end of the day, the better each individual player plays, the better off the team is going to be. So
absolutely,
more guys that understand that, the better. So, but let's maybe cover.
I was going to say during training camp. Yep. During training camp, just wanted to give our listeners a little bit of some expectations for the podcast. We're still we're continuing. We haven't let you guys down. Well, I'll say that we haven't let anybody down, but I was going to say we have not missed a week, but we have missed maybe 2.
There's been
for outstanding circumstances. But we will continue to release podcasts every week throughout training camp. We'll be covering, training camp, maybe some fans that we meet, things that go, funny things that happen during training camp. I know when preseason games start to roll around, we'll be talking about, those games.
Snap of the week.
Snap of the week coming up. Obviously, went for away games, and you having joint practices. Which one is away? Is Philly away?
Philly is at home. The other one is, I think, announced. I think we're at Tampa.
Okay.
Week 1, preseason game 1. I believe we're joint practice with them.
Gotcha.
I don't
Okay.
know. I haven't seen that publicly, but
okay.
I don't
when
know.
those away preseason games get, when they approach, we will be covering, those cities. One thing for sure that y'all are going to hear about in a few weeks is when we play in Charlotte. One of my favorite places to go because there is a fantastic barbecue place down there. I have to look up the name because it's been a couple years since we played down there. But I think we went for a joint practice in 2020 was it 2020?
Carolina?
Or 2019. I think it was 2019.
Yeah, 2020 it wouldn't have been because of COVID. 2019. So it would have been 2018 or 2019.
And that was the last time we went down there. So
yeah.
I'll have to look up the barbecue spot. I know exactly where it is, but I'm definitely going to go and eat there again when we go for the preseason game. Yeah. But we'll be covering obviously the away cities and some of the foods to eat there. I saw a cool article on the best and worst NFL logos that I thought would be fun to cover. Brett and I were talking about that on our road trip. He said, obviously he lives in Nashville. He said the Tennessee Titans got voted the worst logo in the league.
That's pretty bad.
And I think the Steelers, I took a peek at the article. I think the Steelers may have been voted near the top.
We'll take some calls for that one. We'll take some opinions.
Tweet at us or let us know. Instagram, send us some DMs on what your favorite logos are. Maybe send us your top 5, bottom 5, so we can cover that on the podcast in the coming weeks. And then, like I said, we're any funny interactions at camp. People always love hearing about those when we're talking, talking training camp stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a fun couple weeks. It's gonna be a grind, per usual, but it's training camp's here. The season's here. We're about to get rolling.
It is here. We are pumped. I guess this is a wrap on this week's episode. But I'm still waiting on Uncle Scott to call me back. So if any of y'all
TBC,
I feel big timed.
Okay.
So maybe
happens to the best of us.
Maybe if Reed called, he would pick up the phone, but we may never know.
Just what was the star 6 and D9 back in the day?
Yeah, the prank call,
like caller ID.
Beautiful. Yeah. All right, that's a wrap. This has been After the Snap, tales from two brothers who live life upside down.